Welcome back to another week of archery. This week we've got Keith telling us how to deal with calluses and a little update on his training. Hope you enjoy it.
So I've just shot my 100 arrows. Something that I have overlooked is just the build-up of my calluses. So I'm going to show you quickly what I do for those. Basically it just involves some grit paper and some moisturizer, but I'll go through that with you now. So I'm just going to run through with you guys what I do for managing calluses. All I'm going to use for that is two types of grit paper. I've just got a coarse-ish piece of grit paper and then a much finer grit paper, and that's just kind of finishing it off. I'm quite lucky this grit paper is anti-clog, so you can kind of see through it. And you do want to be careful with this, you can go too far and you'll end up with basically a grazed finger. You don't really want that, that's going to make shooting really uncomfortable. What you'll notice is, once you start getting through the harder skin, or the skin starts to soften up, you'll get less skin appearing on the grit paper. You don't want to take the callus off completely, you're just looking to regulate how much there is there. So as I run my finger across that now, it feels much more supple, and there's still a bit there at the top. Yeah, that feels much more natural now. There's no like bulges or anything to get caught behind. And then the last bit is just take the moisturiser, and you really won't need much of this stuff. It's pretty rich, so just dab a little bit on your fingertips, something like that, and then just rub it in the palm of your other hand. You'll probably tend to find that this area of your bow hand gets a bit tougher anyway, so it's good to make sure that this area is also moisturised. You can do the same with if you get a callus on your thumb and your index finger knuckles, you can use that method as well, just to regulate those. Yeah, always good to have soft hands. So I'm going to start with probably the most obvious arrow that was in the photo that I posted on Instagram, and this is my ACCs. I use these for field. A less expensive arrow still gives good performance because of the way the ACCs are made. They tend to be pretty sturdy anyway, compared to an aluminium arrow, are a bit lighter and hence a bit faster. The most noticeable thing about these arrows is as well, I've got quite large spin vanes on here. These are the Elevane IS4s, and the reason I picked those is because the bow that I was putting together, I didn't want to spend too much time tuning, and also because that bow is an older style riser. There was no limb alignment option or adjustment, which means the setup that I was going to have wasn't going to be as exact or as accurate as I could achieve with other risers. So the bigger fletchers are going to help stabilise any inconsistencies. The next arrow I'm going to discuss is a set of ACEs. These are a weaker spine, they're 570 spine, 100 grain break off in the front. I'd totally recommend them for anybody who is interested in shooting the further distances with a lighter weight bow. I use them with my lightweight training bow. All the fletchers have come off. They used to be fletched with standard Elevanes. so I just haven't bothered refletching them. Most of the time they only travel about 6 meters, so there is no real need for fletchers at that distance. The workhorse of my training regime, ACEs. The third set of arrows in that picture were my practice set of Easton X10s, tungsten hardware, which just keeps the amount of pile out the front to a minimum. This particular set I've furnished with the shield shape ele vanes. One thing that I would say about the ele vanes is they are particularly robust, so whilst the spin wings give you a more stable flight, ele vanes don't tend to tear so easily. If they crease, you can kind of recover them a bit better when they've been shot at for quite a while. So most of these arrows have been through a target, a great arrow, and I have used these now for at least a good 2 years, and they are still performing really well. So that's the end of my 100 arrows with the lightweight bow. And now I'm going to go outside, grab my bow that I'm going to shoot for the tournament, and just shoot a couple of ends with that, just to make sure that clicker position is in the right place. Mark II Winact that I acquired in, I think it was around 2006. Shoot that with the Wheelwis 1 carbon limbs, and then just got the HMC Plus stabilisers. Use this bow to come fourth at the Archery GB National Series final. Looking to replace it, but having a hard time finding something that that I like as much. So I'm just going to shoot a few arrows using my training X10s. They're going to be the ones I'm shooting at the tournament today. So I'm just going to shoot, check this clicker position, and if that's comfy within a couple of ends, I'll just pack up and ship out and yeah, head on over to the tournament.